TF2 is very widely known for a large number of reasons. Iconic and lovable characters, a gorgeous painterly art style that still allures players 18 years later, extremely mechanically complex skill ceilings that are constantly being challenged by players that get better and better, and definitely one of my favorites, the unique unlocks that allow you to play in different ways without Valve trying to tack on new classes that would be much more shallow and boring than the main cast. TF2 offers a huge variety of unlocks, with some being objectively better than stock, whether that's a good or a bad thing, some being a fun gimmick, and others are there. And it is such a shame that not every unlock can be just as engaging as the last, but when you have over 160 unique weapons, there's bound to be a few that just miss the mark. The weapon we're covering today is a weapon that started out as a cool concept only to be a poser with an identity crisis. Kind of like pirate software, although at least this weapon can pull off what it sets out to do. That's right, we're talking about the Iron Bomber, Demo Man's stock weapon, but different. Let's start off with what this weapon was supposed to be. On March 17th of 2012, the Scotch Guardian was posted to the workshop, a grenade launcher side grade that would allow you to shoot round pipe bombs with the option to charge up your shot and shoot up to all 4 of your loaded grenades at the same time, with its balancing factors being slow move speed when charging, a 25% damage reduction to grenades, and a wide spread to avoid the demo from just one-shotting someone who turned the corner, even though that's something demo can do already. Now obviously this was just this user's concept of how the weapon would function. Believe it or not, back when Valve actually had employees, they usually took charge of the functionality of a weapon for TF2. And I'm sure you can imagine how much they loved the idea because the only piece of this weapon's identity it got to keep was its model. Now we could sit and daydream about what a weapon like this could have been, but sadly there's not much of a discussion to be had there because anytime you think of the Scotch Guardian, your first thought that comes to mind is probably what Demo Man would call his crotch cup if he played baseball. But really, this weapon sounds sick. Crowd control would be absolutely insane. In the time it takes to spit out a good sticky trap, Demo could have already blown his load on the enemy team and made them think twice about grouping up when he's around, which I guess is something he also already does. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. But as we all know, this isn't the weapon we got. Instead we have, well, what you've been looking at in the background footage. A grenade launcher that launches grenades, but different. And now it's time to look over the stats of the weapon we actually got. The Iron Bomber is almost completely identical to the grenade launcher, but it has a 30% shorter fuse time and a 15% smaller explosion radius. This is certainly something, so you can't snipe nearly as effectively as stock, but this allows you to get more roller kills and can make your spam deal some serious damage, especially since the explosion radius debuff is hardly an issue. Some players consider this a bit of a crutch, and to an extent I can understand where they're coming from, but in my opinion I would so much rather get hit by a 30 or 50-ish damage roller instead of a 100 damage pipe. And for the final stat, these grenades hardly roll or bounce around. And just in case you missed it, the perfectly round pipes roll less than the oblong cylinders that stock shoots. What the fuck, Valve? But ignoring that small problem, you can actually take advantage of the pipes for acting more like sticky bombs that make your spam extremely accurate, and accurate spam has got to be worth something. And other than this rather small advantage, there is literally no reason to value stock or the Iron Bomber over one another. I guess Benny uses it so you can call yourself good at the game when you use it. They're both grenade launchers, which is kind of unfortunate because Demo's primary selection is pretty bland. You get 3 grenade launchers, 2 of them are slightly different from stock, a dopamine enema pump, a backpack, and some shoes which you can't wear while holding a primary weapon. While doing research on this weapon, I've seen some people say that the Iron Bomber is very good at temporary trapping. I think the wiki said this too. And this is true. You can spam in a spot where you're expecting foot traffic and get kills. But isn't that what you're doing anyway? Every bonus this weapon offers is something that Demo Man already does, sometimes being a hybrid between the sticky bomb launcher and the stock grenade launcher. Wait a minute. That's it. This weapon is perfect for bridging the gap between Hybrid Knight and stock Demo Man. What is Hybrid Knight's biggest attractor? No sticky bomb launcher. And if you have a weapon that can give you a diet version of that, you can more comfortably play Hybrid Knight without missing the luxury of crowd control. This is just a little less powerful. Don't worry though, you'll still learn new slurs this way. I swear some people are competing for creativity in the offensive field. And speaking of sticky bombs, the other thing you're missing is sticky jumps. Could you imagine blast jumping and then charging with the tide turner? The distance you could travel would be insane. And thanks to the perfectly round pipes that don't roll around with short fuses, you can actually pull off a blast jump charge. This is actually great. I've been hating on the Iron Bomber for not being original, but this is genuinely a great byproduct of the weapon. All while still being just as satisfying as the stock grenade launcher. Maybe the Iron Bomber isn't so disappointing. It just needed an environment that gives it a unique identity. I could say the same thing about myself, or rather, my cherished appendage. And now that we've solved that problem, let's have a look at what else we can glean from the stats of the weapon. Like I mentioned before, roller kills are more common and make your spam about 30% more deadly. And with all of the crumpkins I've been picking up this spooky season, I've been getting tons of totally fair roller kills. I guess I have been getting a lot of roller crit kills as it is anyways, cause you know, demo man. But outside of the spooky season, where the scariest thing you'll see is a soldier with a glowing weapon, the Iron Bomber is an absolute master at dealing with buildings, because even if you miss, that pipe still has a better chance of dealing damage to that building. This can allow even hybrid knights to be proficient in something they almost choose to opt out of. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Iron Bomber, even though it's hardly different from stock, has actually found a way to stand out to me, despite how boring I think Demo's primary lineup is, except for one of them. This weapon has managed to slip into my good graces by just doing what it said it would do. And you know what? That is actually something I will give it praise for. Doing what it says it will do. Some unlocks really don't like telling you important information. I've been fairly long-winded about the Iron Bomber, but in reality it's just as simple as the stats listed. But come on, how else am I supposed to milk the ad revenue? Jokes aside, this was actually more about the valuable discovery I made about the weapon itself that I wanted to share with like-minded demos out there. This weapon absolutely has its use cases. Although rather niche, it can still be used as a stock reskin with a cool sound design. And that's pretty much all there is to it. The Iron Bomber is just plain good because it's the stock grenade launcher, but different. It still bothers me that the round pipes roll less, but hey, maybe there's a secret heavy lump in them. They should really get that checked out. And I do wish we could have... Doesn't matter how much older I get, man, these voice cracks will never go away. And I do wish we could have seen the original concept in action, even if it would just be plain busted against NG nests or really anything with enough prep time. But still, it sounds so fun. But at the end of the day, we get what Valve decided on. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is a completely different discussion, maybe for a much larger video, not on my channel. I'm good. I don't want pitchforks and torches in my comment section the whole time. Opinions are scary. And with that, I'm done here. The Iron Bomber has been slightly redeemed in my eyes, and I actually had more to talk about here than I thought I would. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you all in the next one.